All right, Shalom. Let's start up the same call. Halayim, La Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Harakakadash, my month. Double honors to the other apostles of the great moonstone of my elder Heroine as well. Salutations to the occupant of the pushing the truth and sincerity and truth. And peace and blessing to the men and women and children that believe in the name Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right, I'm Kanak Sound by Yashar from Lions at the Yashar camp. And this is another Lions and News and Prophecy. Like as always, we're gonna start out with this. All right, this is Second Ezra chapter 15, verse 1. It says, "Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put into thy mouth, saith the Lord." All right. So now, um, going into a lesson that I did the other day, I misquoted something. I said that what I said that America was hitting China with 125. No, China was hitting America with a 104% um tariffs, but it's the other way around. All right. America was hitting China with that, but China is retaliating with this. It says Xi says China is not afraid as Beijing raises tariffs on United U.S. goods to 125% in latest escalation of trade war. You see that? They have been, what I'm saying, speaking with some people about them and overhearing some conversations, and a lot of people don't even have a clue what this means. You know, a lot of people think that it's going to force people to start um um bringing businesses back to the United States and cause people to buy American goods. But here's the thing about that: a lot of the things I said that's made in America really means it's assembled in America, but manufactured in more than likely China. So let's go for like uh Ford. You want to buy a new Ford F-150? That shit going with these 125% tariffs is gonna skyrocket because the components and the parts. The Ford is not made in America. It's not manufactured in America. It's assembled in America, and so the majority of those parts are bought from China. So now you call yourself trying to buy American made, but it's only manufactured. It's only assembled in America. It's not manufactured in America. See that? So that's gonna affect even the American, even the so-called American made um goods. You see that? So this is gonna affect a lot of people, man. Nobody really thought this shit through. Everybody like, yeah, Trump's taking a stand against Iran and China. Them Democrats let the other countries run all over us. It wasn't even about that. Letting somebody run over you. It was about, you know what I'm saying? Um, really, America plays poker while everybody else plays chess, but it was a game. You gotta wait for the right move to make full string like that. They're not in the position. America's not in the position. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people make money off America. True. So that therefore, people are, these countries that are importing, exporting goods to America, um, of course they're gonna want to continue to make their money, but but they're gonna have to find other alternatives, you know. So what happens if, you know, the things that because everybody, China doesn't only export to America. So if things get cheaper in other places, what is the smartest thing to do? Go there and get it. Buy from there. Have it shipped to you or something like that. It's going to be ways around what, what I'm saying, what Trump is effectively trying to do. And America's going to hurt the worst. The United States is going to hurt the worst with what's going on right now. They're literally at war with economic war, majorly with Canada and China right now. And you got other nations gearing up. You got EU nations that are gearing up to set sanctions against the United States, man. EU. I don't know. I don't think America's a part of the EU, but I know it's a part of NATO, and they're kind of like intertwining together. That's you know what I'm saying. That's the whole conglomerate of the beast, dragon, and the horde that sit upon it being America. So if you have allied nations that are set to go to war with the United States, that's Satan divided against Satan, and he cannot stand. But understanding that America was built on division, so we're living in major prophetic times right now, and 2025 being the year of our hopeful salvation and the destruction of this kingdom. You know, so and the way things are going, it really looks like that. So like there's another lesson that I need to do. Like what seeing all these things shall be dissolved. What manner of conversation shall she be? What manner of person ought she to be in all holy conversation, man? What should you be doing right now? What should be your main focus right now? People are getting it twisted, man. People are getting twisted. What should you be doing to solidify yourself right now? We should be leaning on you. How about Shema Shai? You know, watching the videos of the elders, getting edified. You know, getting edified is amazing, especially if you're a man of the Lord and you're out here teaching. So these are major things that are happening in the earth. You know, so we need to watch the elders and apostles. And get edified so we can regurgitate the things that they're putting out. Make these prophecies spread. That's how we get out of here quicker. We no longer have to try to figure that shit out ourselves. We got outlets to go to. We have people that got to the water before we have. It's easier for us to attain because we don't have a whole lot of time to be. You know what I'm saying? That's why we got to keep oil on our lamp so we can trim our lamps with the light. The burn shine brighter and brighter as it gets darker and darker because we're headed for some dark, seriously dark times. Seriously dark times. All right, so let's get into this article real quick. It says Chinese leader Jinping has said his nation is not afraid. All right, what does that say? Let the weak say that I am strong. Hold on. I'm gonna play it. Get that too. All right, hold on. All right, it's Joel chapter 3, verse 10. It says, "Beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say I'm strong." See, what's going to happen is, even though this is the economic warfare, at some point, we have already had these nations, um, we already had these nations like not spending as much on agriculture and the economy, not focusing and focusing on military stuff. But now it's going to ramp up even more. All right. It says, let's start at verse 9. Joel 3 and 9 said, "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up." All right. So that's positioning for um the war of Yahweh Shaphat and the end all tell all World War III, where this place gets annihilated with 200 million ICBMs or warheads. It says beat your plowshares and the swords and your pruning hook in the spears. Let the weak say that I am strong, and that's what China is saying right now. So now, as they're going into this economic warfare right now, very soon it's going to switch from economic war to regular hot war. All right, verse 11 it says, "Proclaim." I mean, Shalakia. um, verse 11, it says, "Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about thither, cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh." All right. So we're witnessing that happen right now. You know. All right. So let's get back to the article. It says the tariff, like started over again. It says Chinese leader Xi Jinping has said his nation is not afraid. Let the weak say I am strong. And his first public comment on the escalating trade war with the United States, as Beijing raised tariffs on U.S. goods to 125%. See that? So now, so now, America's gonna have to pay 100%, 125% tariff on things that go to China, and 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 also pay 104% on things that come in from China. Well, no, China's paying 104%, but but America's gonna have to inflate, like, you know what I'm saying? Have to inflate those prices in order to compensate for that, because with that tariff on America on China, they're gonna raise their prices. See that? It says the tariff hike is the latest in a tit for tat battle between the world's two largest economies. After Trump raised tariffs on China to 145%. Dang. However, China has indicated it does not intend to go higher than 125, said it would be meaningless to engage in further escalation. All right. It says the successive imposition of excessively high tariffs on China by the U.S. has become nothing more than a numbers game with no real economic significance. A spokesperson for China's Commerce Ministry said in a statement Friday. It, it merely further exposes the U.S. practice of weaponizing tariffs as a tool of bullying and coercion, turning itself into a joke, the spokesperson said. Right. The Lord said, "Oh, you're gonna make America a gazing stock." Right. It says the trade war has been the world's. Okay, we already read that. It says, speaking to Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez in Beijing on Friday before the announcement of the new levies, Xi said, "There are no winners in a trade war, and going against the world will only lead to self isolation." For over 70 years, China's development has relied on self reliance and hard work, never on handouts from others. It is it is not afraid of any unjust suppression. Z was quoted as saying by state broadcaster CCTV. It says the Chinese leader had remained publicly silent on the tariff war until now, but struck a def- defiant note in his first remark, doubling down on messages of strength and reliance already broadcast by Chinese officials and state media. It says, regardless of how the external the external economy changes, China will remain confident, stay focused, stay focused, and considerate on managing its own affairs well, Z said, according to CCTV. All right, so now I can understand their confidence because because like what you see really happening is China being set up as the new powerhouse. All right, you got the two biggest economic nations going at it in a trade war, right? And it was said by who was it? Was it George Soros? Yeah, how they say they're allegedly setting China up to be the new economic powerhouse, and Russia will be the new military force for their new world order, right? And they said America will be slowly circling the drain. All right, so America doesn't even know they're really playing into the hands of Yahweh by Shimei Shai because the Lord's setting this whole thing up. You know, let's get Isaiah. We bring it out all the time. Let's bring it out again. Isaiah 47:1. It says, I'm gonna put this article in the news in I mean in the description box so anybody because I'm not gonna read this whole thing but I put it there so anybody else could check it out. It says Isaiah 47:1. It says, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt be no more tender and delicate." It said, "Take millstone, grind mill, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers." Right. The Lord's gonna strip this whore of everything. And as he's stripping her, he's gonna show the shame of this place. It says, "Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man." Right? So now, so the Lord is exposing this place for all the wickedness and all the unjust measures that's been done, what I'm saying, over the years, right? And with that, the Lord's going to strip everything and make it bare. America's going to be left with nothing, you know? America's going to be left with nothing. So I just want to touch on that a little bit. I got another couple articles that I need to do lessons on. Lord, winning this lesson was edified to serve the purpose for the hope of the elect, the one who truly believe in the name of Yahweh Shemel Shai. With that, I want to say, Kal Halayim La Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Harakah Kodash Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostles, the great millstone, and my elder Heron as well. Salutations to the icons that are pushing the truth and sincerity and truth. And peace and blessings to the men and women and children that believe in the name of Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai. Shalom.